Well, hello! Welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and I'm joined with hubby.
Hubcap.
And today we are going to finish up the videos. So I know my owl isn't done, but we're going to finish up the videos for this month doing the dark part of the wing, and we're also going to look at the chest, because I know looking at it you think it's a lot of white fur, but it's not, or feathers. I keep wanting to say fur because the way this owl's feathers are, it's very fur-like. So I think I'm going to work in this area down here. That way we can cross over and we get the dots, or polka dots. We get the black part of the wing. We get some white. And hopefully that should answer everybody else's questions on this.
And this is the last live with this owl, right?
With this owl, yes. Okay. Next week we start April's. So I'm going to zoom in. Is that bright enough for everybody?
I think so. It's bright enough for me.
Well, that's for you. They got to burn it, not you.
That's true.
I have been doing, other than the one part we did with the eye, in the very beginning, I have done everything that I've done with the 18S. And I'm going to continue to do it. What I do want to do real quick is put in some of our whites. That way I don't lose them. Get them in the direction that they go, because around them they do have black. So we want to make sure we don't lose them. And right in the middle of the black is the white. Now on your pattern you may have put more information than I did. That's probably good. I've gotten lost with my own pattern a couple of times.
So what are you doing with this? What is that, chalk?
This is the charcoal white
Okay.
by Generals. Woo, woo, woo. There we go. Sorry.
Woo, 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 woo.
Woo, woo, woo. Alright, so we'll get some white in there. And that's just so we know where we're at and what's going on.
I know where I'm at.
Excuse me.
Sitting in the studio drinking coffee.
You've had too much coffee today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. So we have some of, and I do have my sepia as well. And that really shows me the difference. Like right here, we're lighter, but even though you think it's white feathers, look how dark tonal-wise the chest area is, this side of the head. We have, in the scheme of things, we don't have a whole lot of whites at all. We've got...
Wait, just tape it to the wood and it's done.
No.
Perfection.
Photorealism. There you go. Photorealism 101. Tape it to the board. So we need to make sure we pay attention to that. We also need to follow the direction. If you notice, the feathers are curving around the bone and muscle. And in order to make it feel realistic and not feel so flat, we have to get that curve in. What are you doing?
I have too much coffee.
Oh, one of those days. We are going to do call-ins. We are going to do call-ins, and both on the phone and Facebook Messenger. That way, other people who may not, around the world, because long distance and all that. But Facebook Messenger is free. It won't be a video call. It'll just be a regular phone call. Alrighty, so we have all these dots in here. We don't have to get so hung up on every single little dot in this. What we can do is with the 18S or whatever small tip you have that's also a shader. Get it in there. Alright. All we have to do really is pay attention to where everything is and tap. And because this is doing more dashes than dots like a ball tip would, which if you have a ball tip you can use it, it gives us the barb type feeling without it being so One thing you have to watch is a pattern. You don't want to look like polka dots or to have a consistent pattern. It should look random, and because that's how the feathers look. And also we need to make sure we go with the direction. So like right up here, the dashes, we'll call them, actually change direction, and I'll zoom in a second, and actually go in this direction. And we can kind of do it tip on the side, but in going in this direction, it gives that feeling of curve, and we want that feeling of curve. So even though this part of the dashes are going this way, we also have the black dots going this way, and that's what makes it feel like a 3D object. So let's go in even closer. Woo.
No, David, I'm like this all the time.
Yeah, nah.
We don't really deal with cabin fever.
No,
because this is
we stay in the
life.
cabin.
This is our life.
We stay in the cabin.
I go out for groceries, and when I need to do artist stuff,
and doctor's appointments.
Doctor's appointments. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We are introverts. We have trained all our lives for this.
Yep.
Not making fun of anybody who's dealing with horrific stuff right now. So now I see I'm a little okay. So now for the black around the white, we are going to kind of do longer strokes. Right now I'm at a little over 3. So we want to tap and drag, tap and drag. That's what I'm doing because these are not solid. Let's grab that photo again. The black around the white still have, they're ragged. There's very few that are actually solid. That one's a solid one, but most of these are ragged, so we still want to keep, let's see here, let's pull the color. Now this is going to be the one I use to make my pattern, so it's got ink on it. But we can look at, if you notice, because they are also feathers, they're not solid, and there's feather hanging over. Let's get in there.
Oh boy.
Woo! There's feathers hanging over the black area. That's what gives us the gray look. So we do want to keep that in there. And by what?
Barrel.
So we'll just tap, but we'll leave that tap a little longer. Bring it down, make sure we're following the direction. And now these are bigger and more dash-like, and when, let's see if I can get this to show you. Alright, so when I'm doing this, I've got it, my tip angled like this, and I'm just going in the direction that I want. That shows I've got it angled and up. So hopefully that helps. I know it might be a little, that's how I'm making the marks. The marks.
Apparently Burrow is agitated.
Uh-oh.
Hubby.
See, we're lucky in that. I know some people are having a hard time being home with their significant others, but I like you.
Yeah.
So we're okay.
Yeah. And if anybody was going to be agitated, it would be me.
Excuse me?
Hot pen.
Hot pen. Hot pen.
Just kidding.
No, I like you. You don't irritate me most of the time.
No. Well, most of the time.
Well, yesterday lunch.
What did I do? Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't get off the video game.
Well, that was something.
It was not real. So
It's
going
real.
with the direction.
It's totally real.
It's okay if you kind of go over it in some areas and overlap.
No, I don't watch CNN all day long. No, girl.
Oh, no.
No, I know. I'm staying away from the news.
We're paying attention, but we're not sucked in.
So, something that I I want to capitalize on something you said about the randomness of the feathers. Like sometimes what the human mind does is like if you don't have all the marks on your owl, like for all the white pin feathers or the dark pin feathers, if you don't have them marked out, and so if you decide to do them randomly,
it'll still be okay.
But you do need to be careful, like Valarie said, because about the time that your brain does the first set of dots, it pre-programs that, and it's like it wants to do them all the same. So you're gonna find that you're unintentionally doing patterns, and so you really have to fight against that. That's why, like if you've ever gone up a set of stairs or gone down a set of stairs and tripped, it's probably because one of the stairs is off, because of the way that the brain works. By the time that you hit the third step, your brain calculates the minimum amount of distance that your foot needs to clear the next step, and only so you're only going to raise your feet that high, because that's how it works. And it works the same way in art. Your brain's like, okay, well, this is the pattern now, and I'm just going to do it subconsciously. And Valerie's right. In nature, you don't have that rigidity and pattern, so you have to actively fight against it. Find ways to not do the pattern, and
I tend to go back over kind of an area, maybe connect something. I'm also kind of not scribbling, but moving my pen around back and forth like this changes how the mark is made. And I can always go back and darken any areas. Let's see here, I keep getting off. Darken up any areas, because this area is in shadow more so than the light area. So I can always go back and darken it with a regular shading stroke, with a flat shading stroke and a lower heat setting, just to kind of fill it in. So I don't have to worry about that. And remember, when things are closer, stippling wise, because that's kind of what we're doing, kind of doing some stippling. When things are placed closer together, they look darker. Let's see here.
Feel you, Burrow.
I didn't do it.
No, she's talking about the news.
No. Alright, also, when I'm going lighter, like with, it'll be easier if I bring it. Like with these feathers up here on the face, I'm going flat. Probably should just keep this off so I can just have it. What I'm doing is I've got the back end lifted up, and I'm just dragging with just the tip. And I'm going quicker, because the quicker I go, the lighter it'll be, so I don't have to keep adjusting my heat. So that's what you saw me do here. It's kind of more of a just the tip, and then we'll drag down, and in dragging down it also gives these dots more of the kind of strip feeling some of them have. We won't go over all of them.
So Cindy says Cindy Rose says, now you have me making coffee, and if I don't sleep tonight, you're going to be in trouble if your ears are burning. That's okay, Cindy, because I'm going to be drinking coffee tonight too. David, if you're a klutz like me and I fall upstairs, well, David, if you're falling all the way up the stairs, you're breaking the laws of physics, and I want to know how, because I want in on that.
Didn't he say down? Okay.
No, he said fall up.
Oh, fall up.
But if you find that you're falling in the same spot, the chances are is that there is an irregularity in your stairs. It's causing you to do that because of what I just said.
Can we turn the heater off unless we're cold? Because I just got real hot. Alright, so drag down. See if we can fill some of it in with some of the strokes, and then we can go back and tap in where the darker ones are. And it's just really random how our strokes are. What are you doing behind me?
I'm sitting down.
Now?
But I'm sitting down like we're on the International Space Station.
Whew, okay, I'm going to very quickly take my sweater off. Can you help, please?
Sure. Let me get there.
Oh, gosh. It's going to take forever. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, whew, I got hot quickly. No, it's fine. It's fine. In case I get cold, I can put it back on. Alrighty, so we have right here in this little area, we have one of the tan orangey feathers here. But if we look at our photo, these two, let me cure him on here. This is the same area as this, but if you look, the tonal value is just a little bit darker than the lighter feathers here. That's why we need a sepia or a black and white or both in order to see this difference, because you would see this just looking at it if you're not paying attention or not used to changing color to tone. You would think that this was much darker, but it's really not that much darker. These areas here are lighter because this is getting hit by light, whereas this is not. And that's what's making the difference in these. So that's why the two are important to have. The color shows you the detail, and the monochromatic, because you could even do it with a blue photo if you wanted to, will show you the tonal value. I think I'm just going to hold mine. So let's get a little darker under the feathers because light doesn't hit under there. Make sure we go in the direction. In fact, I could have gone a little lighter, but I think once I get other stuff in, it will be fine. What are you doing now?
Oh, I'm just scratching my face.
You're not supposed to touch your face.
Well, we haven't been out anywhere. I'm not going to stop touching my face. Because if it's in here with us.
Well, don't give bad information.
Okay.
Please. Alrighty, so we've got, let's move over here to our lighter. And remember, some of these are not as dark. They're more faded in. So I'm gonna, if I make some of these darker, these lighter ones will look lighter. So let's get those in using the side. I'm surprised at how much, well, no, I shouldn't be. But I'm surprised at how much I'm using the 18S. But it's also a very versatile pen. I'm just trying to check where I've got some of my lighter ones. There we go. So how is everybody doing? I'm sure a lot of people are going stir crazy, and I feel bad for them.
Well, Burl is. I think because they're talking now about how what's shut down. So David says Wisconsin shut down. No one except for essentials. So no more cheese.
I thought that was essential.
Well, okay, maybe it is. It is Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Sonia says day 5 in Fort Worth, Texas. You know, I would say that I think that in this day and age, we're lucky to have technology and connectivity.
Yes.
Because even though we're all isolated right now, we are all connected.
We are.
And it is much easier having that kind of access to the world. You know, when we were growing up, well, shoot, most of my childhood was isolation, but
well, that's because cavemen didn't have the ability to travel as well.
Terrible.
I
lived in a swamp. I lived in the upper
end
of a swamp, as my ancestors did. I'll have you know. Anyway, yeah, where I lived, there wasn't anything. We had CB radio and television when the generator was on, but it was like 3 channels. But yeah, people have access to the world, and
and that helps.
Phones and stuff to keep us busy like this.
I did want to mention that, especially if you have an elderly neighbor, even if they're a little cranky, try to reach out to them. See if you're capable. to help bring them stuff, please do.
Mm. Well, I think right now, because there is a lot of fear and paranoia, like definitely look on the CDC website. Keep yourself safe. By all means, follow the guidelines. But when it comes to helping each other, this is a time that we really need to help each other pull together, you know, because that's what defines us as a society, you know. It's not the apocalypse.
It isn't.
Even if it was the apocalypse, I don't think that people should act like they do on TV shows. It's like the worst of humanity. We should be representing the best.
Our neighbor died at the end of February.
Not of coronavirus.
No, he did not.
Well, not natural causes. Well,
no, it was cancer.
Yeah.
Sudden onset. And his wife is living in the house right now. And yesterday, he's been keeping in contact, and we've been trying to make sure he's okay because he is elderly, and her children live down in Phoenix, and he can't go on to the Navajo Nation right now, so he's elected to stay here in Flagstaff. He didn't have any, because I asked her if he had anything creative that he likes to do in order to keep herself somewhat busy. And he likes to draw. He's new at it, but he likes to do it. So I actually went through my art supplies. Took her over some art supplies so that he could keep busy.
And it's not like that you have extra art supplies.
Well, we also get the Smart Art Box, so... And Arteza had sent me those colored pencils, and I don't plan on using it. I've tested them, and I need to get a picture up showing light fastness. I haven't pulled the tape on them yet. But I would rather than go to somebody who would use them.
Yeah. Because
I'm not going to. I have other art supplies that I would pick over them.
We have so many art supplies.
Yeah. So hopefully she can create a little bit and help deal with what's going on, plus dealing with her loss. He is a very nice man. Alright, so I can go in and get some of these smaller areas, but I'm kind of swiping and trying not to make them look random, but I'm doing more of a, let's see here, I'm doing more of a draw down crisscross like this, back and forth. Good for scales, small feathers. And let's see here, the angle of my pen is again just the tip touching down and dragging it. Remember, the faster I go, the lighter it'll be.
Oh, that's a nice visual.
Well, that's what I've been doing, love.
Well, you know, I've got to keep track of several things.
Oh.
I'm not just hubcap. Okay, I'm just hubcap.
Get my hair out my face. Out of my face. So that's kind of the strokes right here that I'm doing. They get closer together.
Burl says it's a good thing that they have a large house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Guessing she's trying to get away from him.
Yeah.
Good thing I don't feel the need to get away from you.
You just get rid of me? What's going on? What plans do you have that you're not telling me?
No plans. So we got our white down here. It comes over. See, right? We've got a lighter brown here. And because my photo stops, let's see here. My reference photo stops right here. I had to go online and find another barn owl that was in a similar position just to have the information to continue down to the bottom of my oval. Now, if you're working on a square board or rectangle board, you don't have to worry about it. Because I'm working on an oval and I wanted the information to go all the way down to the edge. I had to go look for that information to continue. And so bring it down. So is anybody ready to do phone calls and ask questions? We're going to stick to no politics or religion. Though if you are sick, please let us know so we can give you the love and support you deserve. So just kind of overlapping. I need to follow the direction of the feather. Now I'm a little bit more, because they're darker, because I'm using a little bit more of the tip and middle, but the heel of my pin is still not touching down. Alrighty, so I'm going to pop up. Dun, dun, dun. The phone number. There we go. Just so you know, if you tried to call, I did not forward the number to after the live, I cut the forward so that I wasn't getting phone calls. It doesn't look like anybody.
I'm ready.
And then you can, if you can't do a phone call, you're also welcome to do Facebook Messenger. If we're not friends on Facebook, just go into the Drawing with Fire group, click on my name, and it should give you the option of contacting me through Messenger. Alright, so let's watch. Kind of need to zigzag down a little bit. But I'm going over some areas again just to break up. Let's see here. We need some bigger areas that kind of define the feather a little bit more, like this. Then we can just keep going. What we got to keep it random. Some of the areas we can touch down to make darker. And here, let's see if I can do this quickly. And what I mean by quickly is a stroke. So don't get it too dark. But you did. Good thing that's okay. Bring it down. Try to keep it together. In fact, on these lighter feathers, you might want to just lower the heat just a little bit. I'd say for basswood, we're going to bump down to 2.5. That should be good enough. And I'll be glad when this owl and the other owl is done. I'm going to move this over because it is right where we'll put it right, boom, there.
Okay. Just so you know, it shows up pretty good though on the.
Does it? Because
even where it was.
Well,
but
my
it was
hand.
Kind of close to
yeah,
where
my
you're
hand.
Working now.
Yeah, that's why I did it. Alrighty. So I'm just gonna get some of the heat out of my tip by touching down where I want darker, and then we're gonna drag down. This is more of a tan. This is the tan area. So I kind of want to drag down. Little longer strokes because it's little longer floofy feathers. And yes, that's a very technical term, floofy. Floofy.
Xena is floofy.
Xena is very floofy. Alright. I'm not covering up all the areas because we do have some white. So even with this lower temperature, that's not fair.
Sorry. I don't know what, 3 cups of coffee, it should be
exactly,
fine.
You're crashing.
Like, I'm wired. My hands are shaking.
You're crashing.
But I'm yawning.
Because you're crashing.
I shouldn't be crashing.
So yes, in some of the areas. This goes down. I don't have the reference that I use to extend. But I can kind of BS my way. So I'm not going to stress about that. Alrighty. So we have...
Nobody wants to talk to us. Oh.
Yep, that was too dark. I could go even lighter. So we got some feather here. Need to leave some white. And by leaving, what I mean by leaving white is just not burning that area. bring it down. We do have some recommendations. I forget. Did we talk about the Expanse last week on Amazon? So, if you're looking for something to watch, highly recommend the Expanse.
Any Expanse fans? It's on Amazon Prime now.
Season 4.
And if you are a science fiction type person, it is hard science fiction, but it also has really good characters. So Valarie was able to get into it because Valarie doesn't like hard science fiction, but I do.
I'm a fantasy gal, but I don't.
But it is a good show. Season 5 is in the works. There's 4 seasons on Amazon. So if you want to get your space on, that's definitely the place to be. It's very good.
What I'm going to do is quickly, because I didn't do it, get some white in here so I just know. It's not perfect, but it's fine. So we'll get some of our white in. Nobody's going to know because we ain't going to tell them. I did go a little darker than I wanted. So I am going to take my little strip of sandpaper that I cut. And I'm going to use 400 because it's not like I need to take a lot off. And I'm going to wrap it around my stick so I can grab it better. Going with the grain. You always want to go with the grain. Because when you go to seal it, if you've gone against the grain, it will show up in the varnish, in the seal. So it's really important to go with the grain. Because this is basswood. And if I had to go against the grain, I would go back with the sandpaper and go in the right direction after I was done. There we go. I'm not going to stress about that area right now. We are going to move. Let's see here. This is the area that's darker. I'm actually going to do my ovals because I can get a softer burn. Going in the direction of the fur, or of the feather. It looks so much like fur. Everybody's quiet.
Well, they're talking about, Spence says, thanks, okay, I will check it out. I think you really like it. The Expanse is, one of the things that people say about it is it's the most scientifically accurate space show that's currently out.
Yes.
And it is pretty accurate. I mean,
but how do we know it's accurate? Because we don't do space like that. So how do we know?
But we will.
But we don't do it.
Not yet.
No. So how do we know?
Don't be difficult, Valarie.
But it's not being difficult. It's a true statement. Okay, so up here we have some white that's hanging over. Let's see here. Make sure I'm in the right spot. We're right here. So that is, we'll tap it in, tap, drag, tap, drag, tap, drag. We also want to go in the direction of the feathers here. Tap, drag, tap, drag. These are down, coming off the neck. And then they kind of overlap. If you notice, I'm not trying to put every stroke in, but I do need to have the direction right. So go with the direction. Tap, drag, tap, drag. So because we've got our darks, it looks like these are lighter than what I'm burning. Go with the direction, and then I'm going to quickly bump over. Let's see here. We have some lighter darks here. Lightly tap them in just so I have them. Right here is where, looking at the reference, it's just light feathers, but this is actually where the tan orange feathers are at. Excuse me. Eat some hair. Alright, so that, let's make sure we're lined up in the right spot. Again, completely normal for me to get lost in my pattern. This is a very detailed one, and I know why less people did this one for that reason.
David has to go.
Bye, David. Thank you for joining us.
Yep. Bye.
So drag. Oh, well, we want to go in the direction of the feather. Direction of the feather. Some of the feathers cross over. Then up here. Alright, here's that line where the wing kind of looks like kind of separates from the back. Well, no, separates from the back of the top. It's just where one of the areas are at. So this one goes like this and curves down.
Wow, there is a lot. You know what? Something I didn't realize. I mean, as an artist, of course I realize that, but I wasn't thinking about it.
What's that?
But with pyrography, there is a lot of work to do on this owl, isn't there? There's a lot of detail.
Because I have the back end, I haven't been able to work on it.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all the different variations in tone and the shapes of the feathers and the quills and all that. And the different kinds of feathers and the different patterns within the feathers. Yeah. And the different directions that those feathers are going.
But we can kind of give the illusion, instead of putting every single bit of information in.
I agree, Spence.
What's that?
Spence says it's looking really good.
Yeah, thank you.
And I really like that background. I like the character of it. I like the different.
I like the swirliness of this particular one.
I do.
So I'm not going to try to smooth it out.
I don't like flat backgrounds. I think that's boring.
Yeah. Well, this gives motion to the owl. It's almost like a motion blur, like the owl just moved.
It's like when you see pictures or paintings of the moon and they've got the halo around it, kind of. Mm-hmm. But it's that effect, but it's not a halo. It's a halo of darkness.
And I'm not going to sit here and worry about if I've got every single black spot in the right place. As long as I've got them in the general area and I've got good contrast, it's not going to matter. Because unless somebody's looking at the photo and actually like laying out where everything is, they're not going to know. They'll look at the photo and go, oh, okay. Looks the same.
So I have a question for Spence. Mm-hmm. So, Spence, are there any sci-fi shows that you recommend? But they have to be like good characters in them, otherwise Valarie won't watch it. So, and we may have already watched them, but any recommendations
We're
that
watching
you have,
Outlander.
or anybody? Yeah, but after we get in with Outlander, then what? Well, actually, we need to rewatch the Star Wars because the next Star Wars just came out on video.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen that one yet. Neither of us have.
Trap and drag, going in the direction of the feathers. Some of them can be connected, some of them not so much, some lighter, some darker, but it gives us that illusion of it being barbed. Because if I remember right, that's how they describe a feather. Maybe. I don't know.
Teresa says yes, a lot of changes in the owl. Isn't Teresa done with hers?
She is. She did hers on paper. She did a wonderful job.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to find it.
It's in the group. Believe it or not, you are a member of the group.
Am I?
You are.
I should get on that.
Yeah, you should get on that.
Jay Wills, I normally manage Instagram, so I'm not on Facebook too much. So
You've been a member of the group since the group started.
I appreciate that.
November 2017.
Slacking.
17.
Hubcap's got to step up his game. Hubcap's got to stop talking about himself in the third person.
There is something I will quickly say, and I will not go into detail. There's a book coming out today. It's not, I didn't do the book. It's not affiliated with me. It's not my branding. Do with that what you will. And I was not, nobody contacted me in regards to it. All right. Moving on. Some people will know what that's about, and maybe some will, in the end, figure out what that's about. All right, darks. Get some in there. Gotta go. See, right here, we have convergence of two different directions coming down. We really want that directional because it's interesting information. It makes it not feel flat. Makes it feel more 3D and more realistic if we get as much of that information more so in contrast than actual every single stroke. So if we can get more the contrast of it. So is nobody going to call us?
I guess not.
Or...
Yes, Jay, I have seen Brotherhood of the Wolf a while back. I liked it.
I don't know what it is.
It's a werewolf movie, but it's set in France, and it has Native American in it.
Oh, okay.
Also.
Well, that I'll watch.
It was actually a pretty cool film. Not well known, though.
Yeah, but is it on Amazon or Netflix or
be,
Stars? Because those are the three stars. Oh, no, Hulu. Those are the three services that we use. We don't watch regular TV, and we don't have cable.
So that was a good.
Oh, and YouTube.
That was a good one, Jay.
Going with the direction, overlapping.
Here's one for you, Jay. War of the Arrows. Have you seen that one? That's pretty good.
Tap drag, tap drag.
Spence says, I think Hubcap is the second member of the group. Yeah, probably.
Yep, he was. Because I needed you to be in there in case, one, I couldn't get in there, then I could go in with your account and I could get in there and do whatever I needed to do to get myself back in there. And two, you're with me.
Yes. I thought you were going to switch to Anne for a second. No. No.
Tap drag.
We've been watching Little Britain.
I love that show.
And if you know Little Britain, Val changes into Anne every so often.
Okay, Andy.
More. Yeah, I know.
Oh, Sheila might know it. I don't know how many other people would watch it. Maybe Sheila knows it.
It's funny. It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
If you like that kind of thing. Yeah, War of the Arrows. It's a Chinese film. It's a foreign film. That's why I brought it up. But it's actually really well done. It's not supernatural. But it's really well done. I think, in my opinion, Jay.
Tap drag, going in the direction, but we can have random taps because then it gives the barb, the striped look on the owl more, the feeling of more realism.
Oh, Teresa has a busted right finger.
Oh, I'm sorry, Teresa.
Gonna try soon. So when I understand how that feels, Teresa. When I crushed
your hand.
Yeah, when I crushed my hand, I got back to drawing as soon as I could, and it was awful. My doctor said I should switch to being right-handed, but I refused. And so, but now I have this.
Well, you'll have to go to this camera up here.
Just go here.
No, it's too close. It's too close. Here, okay, do it now.
Let's see.
No, go in this way. This way. Now, open. Just be still.
Don't be bossy.
Well, I'm trying to distract you. All right. You creeped them out enough.
Yeah.
Good thing I don't care about it.
Yeah.
drag, tap, drag. This is actually looking not so bad. Looking at the camera, looking at what you guys are saying, it definitely is having more of the motion that I was wanting. In the feathers, the movement. Because we really need those.
Oh, Sheila had PC problems. She missed what we were talking about.
Oh, we're watching Little Britain, which we've watched it before, the first 2 seasons, but Netflix didn't have the third.
But Hulu does.
But Hulu does, so
we're rewatching them all.
And he teases me because, yeah, but Andy is worse than Andy.
They're all horrible people.
They are all
every
horrible.
One of them.
Yes.
Except for Lou, probably. Because you sympathize for Lou. But then again, he puts up with Andy.
Yep.
If you don't know what we're talking about, I guess it doesn't matter. But Ip Man, good series.
Let's see here. Now
she didn't go see anyone because she was too afraid of picking up the virus. Buddy taped it. Yeah, that happens.
What?
Her broken finger.
Oh.
So, my mom, when I was, I don't know, like 8 or 9, she fell down on the ice. And where we lived was like really remote in Alaska. There was no way to get her to town to a doctor because that would require an airplane flight. So my dad used to be a medic in the Army, and he set the bone as best he could, but it healed a little crooked. So Mom has a permanent bump on her wrist where it's slightly offset.
All right, we're getting some of these later or darker spots in, kind of going over. I'm using more of the edge of the pen to do that.
And I broke multiple bones growing up that I couldn't set them. I just had to let them heal.
Jammed my finger twice. So that knuckle is bigger than the other ones. And other than breaking my 2 teeth,
What?
I haven't.
No.
Broken any other bone?
I've broken like 13 bones.
Well, I don't know. We still have to x-ray my tailbone to find out if that's broken. So
I will check it out, Jay. I haven't heard of that one.
Tap, drag, tap, drag. Now, some of the charcoal will act a little bit like a mask. So it'll lighten up those strokes. It'll still let some of the burn in. Tap, drag, kind of scrumbling, but making sure I get kind of the...
So you use the white...
It's just a marker, so
charcoal to mark those areas. So
yeah,
you wouldn't burn them.
Yes. Yep. I'll go back in probably. Well, before I go to seal, I'll go back in and put in some white colored pencil, I think.
Jay says, "Never seen using the side. Enlightened once again."
Yeah. You can turn your pen in all directions to use it. Now, some temps may not lend themselves as much to it.
Right, like don't use the back of the pen because that doesn't work.
What, like that?
No, like the cord.
Oh, the other end of the tip.
Yeah.
Other pen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just rubs up against the wood.
Yep, don't work. Oh, I was giving your dad joke the visual it needed.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I did that for you.
That's teamwork. Hey! You left me hanging.
That's what she said.
I could have taken a tumble there.
You did it. I didn't move.
All chat would have seen is my feet flying up in the air. Like, whoa!
And yes, this is real life. But
the dentist video. Is this real life?
Tap, get in there. Looking at it on screen, you can see how it looks like the owl without me putting every single stroke in. I'm just getting the shapes in there.
It does look like it.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I picked this owl was in order to convey that you can still get realism even if you don't put in every single stroke. The next one we're doing next week is the Nemo one, and that one is working on lighting and blending. And it's kind of a break to be a little easier because we had the fox and then we had the owl, so I wanted a little bit of a break in hopes that people who maybe don't feel as comfortable yet because they're new to burning will be more likely to give it a try and help their confidence level. So that's why I picked that one.
Teresa says, lovely work, Val. Dimensional looks awesome.
Thank you. And at this point, I won't be burning another owl for quite some time. So right here, just using the edge, and then I can go back over to darken some of the areas.
Jay says it's starting to really look nice.
Yeah, gotta get through the ugly stage. Some of this curves, so I'm gonna turn my pen to the other side so I can curve more, to move my pen more to the left. If I wanted to up curve, I would curve it more. I would go in the opposite direction.
You know, Teresa, one thing that about your finger, what people don't realize is like how many nerves are in your fingers. Oh. It hurts so bad. So my sympathies to you. It sucks.
Yeah, see, mine's the ring finger on my. In 7th grade at a school dance, middle school, somebody bumped into my hand this way, so I jammed it, and it swelled 3 times the size and turned green.
I thought that was going to go into a different story, but go on, finish.
And then playing softball, I re-jammed it, so that knuckle stays bigger than the rest.
Oh. That's hardly noticeable, honestly.
Well, it's noticeable to me.
Well, yeah.
I wasn't trying to compete with you.
No, I wasn't. I was just saying that...
You're like, it's not as bad as mine. It's not good enough. Not good enough.
No, I was just saying it looks fine. It looks lovely.
Mm-hmm. Computer says no.
Mm-hmm.
Computer says no.
So I thought the story was going to be that somebody bumped into you at the dance, and then and that insulted your honor, and that you had to do a death match, and that's when you broke your knuckle on their skull.
No, not that time.
Not that time. Teresa says, "Oh dear, that must have hurt Val."
It did. I'm trying to remember did I get hit by a bat the second time?
Like a bat?
No, like a bat.
Oh.
Yes, I got hit by a bat the second time because I was catcher and I put my hand too far in and they swung. They got my hand.
Ooh.
Yeah. Took me out of the game. But they wouldn't let my parents touch it because my dad kept wanting to, like, no, he did. He tried to pull it to get the joint to go back into place. And didn't work so well. So
I'm going to refrain from telling my stories because I have a lot of injuries, and some of them are ghastly.
Well, I broke my tooth falling on my face.
Oh God, that one still just gets to me.
What, me? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was bigger right now. The scene that I need to get on redone. It was a bigger, and it hurt so bad. Oh my gosh, hurt so bad. I was 9 when it happened, and then like a year later, my parents were able to take me to the dentist. They saved up the money to take me to the dentist to get it fixed. So I got it fixed, and I was all happy. I didn't have this big old, 2 broken teeth in the very front, and made me feel better about myself. And then one day, about 6 months after they paid all that money to get it fixed, I was sucking on one of the giant jawbreakers, and I was spinning it. And as I spun it, popped the filling out, the concrete filling out.
Oh.
So I had to... Yeah, so that one That was, yeah, I was in 8th grade when it popped out. 8th grade, 7th grade. And my parents were like, we're not fixing it again. It's like, but I didn't do it on purpose.
So Jay likes vampires and werewolves. I was just going to say that.
Okay.
So we've mentioned this show before on the channel, but there's a movie, and also the movie's on Amazon Prime, What We Do in the Shadows, and it spawned a series on Hulu.
I love
with
it.
the same name. So if you like vampires, it's a comedy.
There's werewolves in it too.
And there's werewolves. Werewolves, not swear wolves. Anyway, it's hilarious. So if you haven't seen it, we highly recommend it. It's definitely,
I love that show.
It's definitely a very good show.
I love that show. Love it. Let's see here. So I'm just kind of, because some of the feathers are longer strokes, so I'm trying to get those in either with the edge like this, if I want it a little bit more detailed. If I want it a little bit more blurry, I'm using the tip and dragging down quickly, and that kind of blurs out. And I'm overlapping. Because some of these, I think they like your stories. I don't have a lot of stories, at least not stories I can tell.
Well, I think especially since we're all self-quarantined right now, like having stories and then sharing like movie choices and stuff, I mean, that's helpful.
It is. I'm going to do a little bit of oval strokes just to kind of break it up a little bit. Then I can go through and tap it in wherever I want it. And do some ovals with just the tip. And tap it in. Maybe we should have people call in and not ask burning questions, but tell us your story. Tell us a funny story from childhood. Funny, please.
Yeah.
Should I embarrass my brothers? So my youngest brother is...
I guess that was a hypothetical question.
My youngest brother is 8 years younger than me. And my next brother, who I call Bubba, is 2 years younger than me. And my littlest brother, I'm trying to think how old we were. We still tease him about this. My littlest brother, he was in, I don't know, 2nd grade, so 7. Yeah, that puts me in high school. I was in high school and Bubba was in middle school. And little brother had fallen asleep, took a nap in the afternoon. Well, it went into evening, and my parents told me to go wake up my brother for dinner. So it was dark outside, and because it was in winter time, when we would get up to go to school, it was still dark, and we had to walk to school. Or they had to walk to school. I was in a different school. So it was dark outside when he would normally have to walk to school. So I went in and told him that he was kind of got a little riled up and told him he was running late for school. He needed to get up now and go. And poor kiddo jumped up, got dressed, went into the bedroom to tell my parents bye, give them a kiss and tell them bye. And the next thing I heard was, Valarie! They called me into the bedroom. Trying to yell at me, but trying to keep a straight face, but couldn't. Yelling at me because he got up, put his backpack on, and got ready to go to school.
Poor kid.
Yeah. Love you, Brian. Not that he's watching. I had fun. It's not my fault he's the youngest. And nobody got hurt. Did we get a call?
No, that was a notification.
Oh. I guess we're getting towards the end, aren't we?
Yes, Teresa, The Witcher and the games are awesome, and Jay also thinks The Witcher was great. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Confusing a little bit.
Well, yeah.
Because of the time thing. But you know what?
They
It
could've
all
done
worked
that.
out in the end.
Yeah, they could have done that better. Alright, so I will keep... I don't know when I'm going to have this owl done because I'm working on another project. In fact, I got to get a hold of the company and find out if...
Oh, God, Cindy.
If my due date is still April, middle of April.
What?
For the project I'm doing.
Sorry. I was reading chat and all I heard is my due date is April. And I'm like, something you're not telling me?
If that happened, we would be...
Surprise!
We would be the richest people in the world if that happened.
So Cindy had to clean out her desk in 3rd grade. So she put all of her bad papers down the toilet. And she forgot to erase her name. And it all came back up and flooded the girls' bathroom.
Oh no.
So of course with her name on it. Like, who did this?
Oh no.
Well, it's awful.
At least you were only 8 when that happened. Oh.
Yeah, if you just play the Witcher games, it's easier to follow for sure.
Well, I didn't play them. I watched them though.
Yeah.
All right, do we have any final questions on the owl? I think I've covered everything. I am going to darken the heart top at the top. I just needed to get it in there because right now at this point I'm just trying to block in so that I can wipe down and then I will do any adjustments and then it will be done.
It's amazing, like when you zoom out, like how it kind of takes shape.
And that's why I wanted to zoom out. Now this area will go darker, but at least now I have pattern, and even when you look close up, it looks like an owl feather without sitting here and transferring every single dot. And oops, there we go.
Burl says she would call, but for once she has nothing to say.
Her phone calls me all the time.
I doubt that. Knowing Burl, but
her phone called me yesterday and the day before, so she's always calling me.
You know, encourage Pat to call him.
Yes, we could have Pat. I will talk to Pat and see if he will call in next week.
See, that's what hubcap's for.
Thank you.
Good ideas.
Thank you. Well,
You're
within limit.
You're like, well, I don't know about that, but
well, I don't know if Pat will, and he will have to watch his tongue, because anybody who's talked to Pat knows that he's very
So Jay accidentally
eloquent with some of his words.
So Jay accidentally lit off a string of firecrackers in his bedroom when he was 12.
Oh.
His dad was really upset.
Not too happy, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so next week we will start on Nemo and bring a funny story from your childhood so
Who's
we can
Nemo?
share. Nemo.
We're doing a fish next week?
We are starting a fish next month. Yep.
News to me.
And then May is the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
And then June, a lot of people didn't want to do the statue, so I'll find another picture for June for them to vote on.
That's just notifications.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know why they're going off. Thank you so
People are
much.
uploading.
And don't forget.
Burl says, looks great, Val.
Thank you.
Teresa says it's impossible to do each feather.
It is impossible to do each feather. And we don't want to do each feather. We just want to make it look like we did each feather without doing each feather.
Jay says it's going to be a very thorough conversation if that calls in.
Yeah, that's true. Can you help me? Maybe if we decide to do that, maybe we need to make it an extended live. Love Pat. Man's a talker. Oh, thank you.
I'm happy.
Thank you. I got a little chilly. The man is a talker. Alrighty.
I'm making chicken sandwiches for lunch.
Oh, it looks like you were supposed to do that yesterday, remember?
But it didn't happen.
Yeah, why?
For reasons unknown to me.
Alright, guys. Watch time and people are dropping. I gotta figure out
Spit
what
says
to do.
Val already knows what I set fire to.
Yes. Twice.
What?
Yes.
I don't know this.
Twice. He told me in chat
Okay.
last week. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, so he stays away from fire.
Hmm. Really, that's odd considering.
I know. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment after the live so that YouTube will share the damn videos. Because YouTube likes to hide me. Which stinks. Which means my numbers drop.
Yep. Everybody stay healthy. Good point, Teresa.
Yes,
Thank you.
please
Thank
stay
you,
healthy.
Teresa.
Help your neighbor from a distance. Like when I dropped off the art supplies to our neighbor the other day, I left it on her porch and I stepped back a good 10 feet to ensure that there wasn't a possibility of transmit. And she stayed behind the door, behind her screen door. So, yeah. Help a neighbor if you possibly can. And if you can't, please reach out to somebody in the group. And even if it's just talking to them so that you don't feel so lonely and cut off from the world. Wash your hands. Stay away from people. You're too close. You're too close. Oh, don't touch faces. I did wash my hands before we got started.
As did I.
Alrighty. If we don't have any more questions, bring your stories and one thing you're watching that you would recommend to everybody else so that we can kind of go through this together. You got anything?
I don't know. Maybe recipes. Well, not recipes.
Well, no, because there's no place.
Maybe your comfort food. We can talk about that too.
Comfort food? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, story from childhood. Comfort food.
Movies and series to watch.
And I'm listening to Michael Franti. I'm like constantly listening to him now.
I will bring a story of another one of my broken bones.
Oh boy.
Or something.
I will post in group closer to next Tuesday live with the photo and where to get it. That way you have time to make your pattern and sand your wood. And I think that's it.
Cindy says you guys are fun.
Well, I'm glad. Doggy kisses heal. Doggy kisses always heal an owie heart.
Yeah, our doggies need some toothbrushing.
Yeah, they do.
They might heal, but they also might make me just a little bit.
Come on. What are you
Jay says he's got a brownie recipe. I bet you do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if only. Come on. There we go. Don't forget that you are awesome. You can do this. You're a pyro artist. And I don't know why nothing's working. It didn't work.
What?
It's hiding.
You're hitting.
I need to bring it up.
Gotta do it.
Come up.
Make it happen.
I'm trying. But that's not what I wanted. I want this. It's hiding. Alright, I'll fix it next week. It don't matter. Alright. Happy burning, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, come on.
What? Yeah, but it's at the very bottom. You don't know what we are.
Oh.
Yeah.